Faromatics is a company dedicated to increasing animal welfare while at the same time improving productivity of farms. We are a precision livestock farming company, so basically we use modern technology to observe the animals continuously, try to understand the needs of the animals, and from satisfaction of those needs, we will then reap productivity benefits. We were founded 4.5 years ago and have now commercialized our first product, the Chicken Boy. We are fully dedicated to the poultry industry, in particular to meat chickens or broilers, for the simple reason that we globally raise 60 billion of these animals every year, 3 billion of which never make it through the process because they fall ill and die. They gobble up 250 million tons of feed every year, 3 million of which could easily be saved if only we had better digestion management. And some of the chickens don't even make it into the human food chain because they are rejected at the slaughterhouse. We could save 1.6 billion animals from going to waste like this if only we had more control over the living conditions of chickens on farm. This is precisely the purpose of the Chicken Boy, the worldwide first ceiling suspended robot that monitors every single day of production, 24 hours a day, 100% of the animals, and where it matters most, which is at chicken level. The robot runs on a rail system that you can see here schematically on the right and in real life on the left. So basically for a 40,000 chicken barn, 1,800 square meters, you can count on roughly 1 kilometer of rail. The robot just zigzags through the house, covering 100% of the floor area, and it charges itself when it's necessary, so it's completely autonomous, and it just goes around the whole day, capturing data for the farmers. With 9 sensors, artificial intelligence and big data, we're able to do a lot of things for both the farmers and the chickens. So for example, we are mapping thermal comfort, which means that at every point we measure temperature, relative humidity and airspeed. In the same way we measure air quality, so CO2 and ammonia. We measure light intensity, important for the skeleton and for uniformity. We measure sound levels, stress. We measure free usable space, which is important for regulatory compliance, but also for bird distribution. We use artificial intelligence to find mortality, to keep the farm clean, wet spots for better litter quality, and defective drinkers for better access to water. We also use AI in order to classify excrements, so that we can see the onset of intestinal diseases 24 to 48 hours before the farmer can, which often is the difference between antibiotics and no antibiotics. The latest addition to our functionality is the light-induced movement, which we use to improve feed conversion and leg health. All this is then reported to the farmer through our cloud system, where the farmer can not only use streaming and see pictures taken from the farm, but also program alerts. We have about 15 of them that then go directly to their mobile phone. This helps the farmer to manage by exception. But it doesn't end here, because we also provide morning reports for farmers as well as weekly reports and cycle reviews. In the morning, we send farmers such a radiography of their shed so that they can decide easily whether they have to go very fast and take a look at the chickens or change some parameters, or whether they can go to the next shed and take a look there, or even, have another coffee. Our weekly reports and cycle reviews are the basis for continuous improvement projects in the farm. That helps farmers to achieve a better consistency in the results that they're making. These reports are quite detailed, so there's a lot of information that we can provide to farmers. This is the lowest level that we normally don't show to farmers, but we use this either internally or for scientific purposes. This is data series data. On the top left, you can see sound levels, and you see that steep increase. This is day 4, so the chicks are pretty small, and this is the moment when the lights are turned off abruptly in that farm. As you can see, the sound level rises from about 9 decibels to over 120 decibels before it goes down to some extent. But so this is a really stressful moment for the little chicks. and it takes them more than 20 minutes to actually get back to their normal level of excitement, so to say. So here, this is an example of the data that we can show to farmers for them to consider the consequences, to see, you know, how much this has an impact on productivity and on mortality, and then maybe make a purchase and buy a system that, you know, turns off the light, in this case, more gradually. Whenever farmers do detect a problem, they can go online to the cloud system from wherever they are and then start investigating what might be the reason. As an example, here we are showing 2 outbreaks of ammonia. So you can see this in the bottom right, where we see that the ammonia levels actually go over 20 ppm, which is the legal limit. But we're not only providing that information to the farmers, showing them that the levels are too high, but we're telling them exactly where in the farm they have a problem so that they can go and take a look. For example, fix the wet litter, which is the reason behind this particular ammonia outbreak. Or here you can see 2 outbreaks of bad droppings. You can see that in the bottom graph a little bit better than, you know, the first outbreak and then the second long outbreak that actually never really recovers. If you study the map data very closely, you will find that both outbreaks originate in the same area. So meaning that the litter there was probably infected bacteria, and therefore if the farmer goes in and then disinfects that area, then very likely he wouldn't have had the second outbreak, which was quite damning in terms of growth of the chickens. And as a final example, here our free usable space. Free usable space, of course, connected to the density of the chickens in the house. And in the bottom graph, you can see, apart from the local variations, you know, how free usable space goes down until thinning, when it goes up again. In the top part, however, you can see, you know, local distribution in this particular time. And that means, you know, when you're seeing non-uniform distributions, that means that you might have an issue somewhere, so that you can go investigate in order not to have non-uniform flocks. And this wealth of new insights means that the Chicken Boy is a profitable investment in less than 2 years, because we basically help improve farm management. For 1,000 sheds, this means that we can increase profits by 12 to 24 million euros per year, effectively doubling the income of farmers. And that is without counting the, let's say, softer side of things, so the proof of better living conditions of the chickens, which helps you improve your reputation, but also makes, you know, but we're actually less after the transition of the okayish to the good farmer. We are much more after the transition of the good to the great farmer, because here we can help to upgrade to the next level of performance with completely new insights that the farmer have never seen before. And that, in the end of the day, means shortening your cycles, so you can move towards more cycles per year, and you can have, you know, better consistency in your performance, which is very important. With this, we can increase profits by an additional 10 to 40 million euros per year per 1,000 sheds. You're seeing a lot of high numbers. How realistic is that? In order to answer that question, we've looked at economic research from Germany, where the bottom 25 of farms make, on a 40,000 chicken shed, on average 5,000 euros of profit, whereas the top 25% make 65,000 euros of profit, 13 times as much. So if we just limit ourselves to growth, that means that we can achieve payback for the robot by only increasing average daily gain by 12 EPIF points or by an ADG of 1 gram increase. Our clients lose 4 to 7 grams because of incorrect climate only. We can achieve payback in 2.1 years if we increase ADG by 1.8 grams and we reduce mortality by 1.1%. If you take into consideration other factors like labor and energy and health costs and so forth, payback becomes shorter, of course, and then we reach, you know, easily a 2-year limit. But it doesn't stop here, because there's also the integrators. Now, integrators have opportunity cost from mortality, but they also have a cost because they have a limited production licenses, and therefore can only sell so much meat into their sales channel. Now, with the Chicken Boy and with optimized production, we can increase both factors. So that means if we move from an EPAF of 376 to 402, so from a good farmer to a great farmer, or what is equivalent, we increase ADG by 1.8 grams and reduce mortality by 1.1%, we get an increase in production and we get an improvement of production efficiency, which in the end of the day means that integrators can purchase the Chicken Boy, hang it in the barn for free for the farmer, and still make a profit on this. Our clients know that. They appreciate that we're doing things for them that they cannot do alone, that we're showing them information that they've never seen before, and that we're helping them to remedy situations that they might have had for years, but they had no clue about. And that explains the great industry interest. We're already working with 40% of top integrators in Europe. We're engaged with 90% of production capacity in key market Germany, and our clients produce 2 billion chickens per year. We work with Big Dutchman, the biggest distributor in the world of pig and poultry farms, and with a market presence in 174 countries. But allow one of our farmers to explain himself what he thinks about the Chicken Boy.
Cada vegada ens hem d'ajustar més al temps i escurçar el temps de diagnòstic del que pot ser una simple anècdota que no es converteixi en un problema dins la granja. Una de les meves feines i la del meu granger és entrar per dins a l'explotació i mirar els excrements com són per la digestió. Jo puc mirar els excrements, però no som capaços de comptar diàriament els excrements, la qualitat, quins són bons, quins no. El Chicken Boy ho pot fer.
We are really excited, and I hope I've had the chance to convince you that this is a very interesting project. We are just at the very start of it. There are so many things that we would like to do with the Chicken Boy. We also have, integration of new sensors and new sensing technologies that we're doing now with third parties. Because in the end of the day, the robot is an open platform where researchers and developers of sensing technologies can integrate their material with our robot so that we can make a great welfare and productivity monitor for the poultry industry. And with this, I would like to thank you very much for your attention. And have a great day.